Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Greetings from Pakistan. Let me begin by thanking you for asking me to speak at this event. I wish I could have been here with you in person, but a scheduling conflict has prevented me from doing so. As you know, I belong to the world of public health and policy. I'm a civil society actor, so to speak, and I know I'm speaking to a room full of industry executives, fully aware that it is quite conventional for us to work in our own respective domains, in our own comfort zones. But I've always believed that the problems we face today can only be solved through collaborative action, where all sectors of the society play a role in pursuit of common objectives. And this is precisely why I'm delighted with the dawning of the era of the Sustainable Development Goals, which has created such a strong imperative for us to get to know each other better and to explore ways in which we can work together for positive change. I'm sure you're all aware that the SDGs are part of the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, to which more than 190 heads of state are signatory, and which aims to wipe out extreme poverty, fight inequality, and tackle climate change over the next 15 years. But these are not just 17 goals and 169 targets which provide a rallying point for governments and development actors. The SDGs actually represent a major shift in global development thinking, and whilst they are meant to serve as a blueprint to guide national agendas and political policies for the coming 15 years, they are also meant to be an unprecedented opportunity for long-term sustainable value creation. And for this reason alone, my understanding is that they must be of interest to the business community. As a matter of fact, the United Nations firmly believes that your community as a whole has a key role to play in advancing the Sustainable Development Agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, to be more specific, I'd like to emphasize that the SDGs have a holistic approach to your area of interest, because they expand the spectrum of development priorities from what was once a sole focus on undernutrition and food security to one that now also includes food quality, equity, and food systems. So in a sense, it focuses on malnutrition in all its forms. And this is for very good reason, because if one looks at the global statistics, we simply see problems at both ends of the malnutrition spectrum, and big problems. Today, approximately 462 million adults worldwide are underweight. But on the other hand, almost 2 billion are also overweight or obese. Communities still struggling with growth stunting rates of up to 30% are now witnessing a rise in obesity and related disease. In the same family, children experience wasting, while older family members struggle with overweight. In low and middle income countries with emerging economies, almost 5 million children continue to die of undernutrition related causes every year. Yet simultaneously, these same populations are now witnessing a rise of childhood overweight and obesity, increasing at a rate 30% faster than in richer nations. For your region in particular, Asia, where 48% of all the overweight children live, there is an additional risk, because with the rapid social and nutrition transitions underway, even more children are at risk of developing obesity. And since childhood obesity leaves an indelible mark, there is a risk that a generation of children will continue into adulthood with all the associated non-communicable disease risks. So let me take a slight detour here to emphasize that we can no longer afford to disregard non-communicable diseases, which today are the major global killers. Just to cite an example, for instance, NCDs accounted for 12 million deaths in 2012 alone. By the way, NCDs is a collective name given to certain heart and lung diseases and cancers, as well as diabetes, which have reached epidemic proportion. And the reason why I'm mentioning NCDs is because diet and obesity prevention are part of the key strategies to avert this epidemic. So within this wider context, I want to share with you my recent experience co-chairing the World Health Organization Commission on Ending Childhood Obesity, which I had the honor of leading along with my co-chair, Sir Peter Gluckman, Science Advisor to the Prime Minister of New Zealand. Our Commission's work came to fruition in January this year, and its report, which we handed over to the WHO Director General, is the culmination of a 2-year process, which involved face-to-face discussions with more than 100 countries in all regions of the world. Our Commission also held several non-state actor hearings and 2 open online consultations, and factored in the input of 2 expert working groups, one on science and evidence and the other on implementation, monitoring and accountability. So in our report, ladies and gentlemen, we have clearly stated that childhood obesity has the potential to negate many of the health gains made over the last decades. As a Commission, we adopted a life course approach to the Commission's recommendations, and we have made a strong call to tackle the obesogenic environment throughout the life course. As a Commission, we emphasize that childhood obesity is a complex, multidimensional problem, and that its prevention and control is a shared responsibility between many sectors. And in outlining the actions and responsibilities for implementing our 6 recommendations, we have chosen to espouse a whole-of-society approach, in which all actors, government, parents, NGOs, and the private sector take shared responsibility and work together to effect change. So, ladies and gentlemen, our Commission recognizes the important role the private sector can play in addressing childhood obesity, but we also recognize that the private sector is not a homogeneous entity. It includes not only food and beverage manufacturing, marketing and retail and food service, but also the insurance, recreation and media industries. So there has been a conscious effort to speak to all these audiences. As a Commission, we recognize that there are already a number of private sector initiatives that have the potential to impact positively on childhood obesity, and we were firmly of the opinion that these need to be encouraged where supported by evidence. For example, we have recognized that initiatives by the food industry to reduce sugar, salt and fat content and portion size of processed foods and to increase production of innovative, healthy and nutritious choices could certainly contribute to the efforts to improve the health of children worldwide. To cite another example, the decision by retailers to remove energy-dense, nutrient-poor snacks from checkouts and review promotions are welcomed and encouraged. And in the same vein, innovative health insurance schemes that reward healthy lifestyles and efforts to improve access to physical activity are also encouraged in our report. As a Commission, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that progress can be made if all actors remain dedicated to working together. But this requires commitment, long-term investment in and innovation if we are to achieve our collective goal of ending childhood obesity. And if we commit and deliver on this goal, we will not only ensure the health and well-being of our children, but we will also contribute to the Sustainable Development Agenda and its goals. Goal 2.2, for instance, challenges us to end all forms of malnutrition by 2030. And another goal, 3.4, specifically calls for reducing by 1/3 premature mortality from non-communicable diseases. So ending childhood obesity will set us on the path to the achievement of both these goals and contribute to many others. And for this reason, it merits our best efforts and full attention. Ladies and gentlemen, the area of childhood obesity is just one illustrative example of what can be achieved through the whole of society approach to public policy implementation. There are certainly many others which I would encourage you to explore at this convening. I wish you all the best for your deliberations and want to thank you for your attention.